In Contract Studio, my theme is companionship because I value friendships and everyone around me all the time. But what I learned is that there's so many different mediums you can use and you can all make them work together as like a whole portfolio.
So for the year, I wanted to focus on phobias and fears in my work. And I think focusing on that, like particular core primal emotion, like evokes a lot of like layers, especially in visual art, because you can capture that in so many different ways.
This year I decided to focus on memories and the human experience. My most recent theme was flower language, the hidden flower language. So I picked a bouquet and it all represented like how a person changed throughout their life.
My chosen theme was sleeping and dreaming. Through my art, I feel like I've definitely learned to look at things a different way, specifically dreaming. Going into it, I had sort of a very general idea of what I wanted to portray, but through my work, I feel like I've sort of explored that idea a lot more and been able to look at it completely differently from how I was going in.
For what I decided to focus on is basically just small things in my life that I love and just little details of life in general that maybe other people can see that they love.
For my senior portfolio, I decided to look at people's personalities and how color and pattern can reflect the qualities in them. And so for my AP portfolio and senior show, I had that as my theme.
I just kept it broad and did canines. It's gone really well. I've gotten a lot of different pieces out.
My theme for Contract Studio and also the rest of the year, since I'm an AP student, has been storytelling. I wanted to do a series of works that as you go through them, you gather a story through them. Through that, it's been definitely a learning curve. I've never done a series of works so large, much less works that were all connected to each other. So it's been an interesting experience, to say the least, trying to connect everything and make sure each point makes sense and what I'm trying to convey is coming across accurately.
My chosen theme for my artworks was subject matter going into abstraction. For me, it was a bigger exploration of how I can look at form and then alter it to be more interesting in a compositional type of view rather than arrangement. Over this year, it's evolved to be more of a study of hands, because for me, that's one of the most dynamic forms of the body.
I've been kind of focusing on 3D work and self-expression and representing kind of religion and fantasy and artworks together, and it's kind of helped me grow a lot in kind of just the way that I approach art and how I plan and practice and execute all my works together.
I really focus on storytelling and narrative because that's my theme for AP. So I really try to bring the story out and the deeper meanings. For my AP theme, I decided to go with the theme of older sister guilt. So with that, I'm exploring topics such as remorse, repair, and guilt. Having to work off a theme really shows you how to expand on a theme and how to really take your artwork as far as possible. I feel like having that constraint really kind of pushes you to think outside the box.
For most of my theme, I always try and have them all related together. I think I've improved a lot because I keep practicing.
So my theme this year is about supporting local communities and supporting local artists. So all of my pieces have been local restaurants, local businesses, portraits of local farmers and artists and musicians. I think it's really important to just raise awareness for small businesses and especially artists in my community.
My theme for my AP course was time and just how we as people react to time and how it affects us and our emotions. I've learned that sticking through a cohesive theme is not easy, but it definitely makes you think about the subject a lot more in depth and think of other ways you can portray it.
I think I've definitely gone out of my comfort zone and going bigger with my pieces. I've been challenged by the other students here, whether that be conceptually, the size, or just things like texture and things of that sort to explore.
I would say my main focus, and this goes out through my whole life of doing art, is doing stuff that expresses who I am as a person.
For my personal theme this year, for my portfolio I chose the theme of the culture traditions, exploring human history, about different tradition and meanings that we put in every day. I just think it's really interesting and it reflects towards the human nature.
So my theme that I chose for my portfolio this year was nostalgia, moments of importance, and displaying universal feelings that a lot of people can relate to. I really enjoy working in one theme. I think it helps me to come up with ideas faster and focus more on my technique.
My theme for like my AP art is representing like niche emotions. Working on a certain theme has really helped me kind of build my creativity.
In my contract studio, my theme evolves around emotion through color and color hues and palettes. For my pieces, I've done a mixture between gouache, digital, and chalk pastel, where I try to emphasize color and like everyday childhood emotions that we felt growing up, but through like these vivid, really nice illustrations. It's really cool.
My chosen focus was cultural themes. I really want to deep dive into cultural like art pieces, and I think it's definitely something that's not brought up a lot, and I really like enjoy culture, and I think it's something we should all embrace.
It's been very fun being able to connect with other people. I think that's like the most important part to me. Like being in an environment where everyone has a common interest and desire.
I think what's most important is that I've never lost sight of why I fell in love with art in the first place. I've just learned to focus on like the basics before I even begin to stylize, because that's one of the most important things to me. Having my own personality within my work, but I need to make sure I understand fundamentals before anything else.
This school has actually been really amazing for all of us because we're all like the nerdy, artsy kids, so having a community to actually connect with was really nice. I think it helped all of us grow a lot better, and like having people we could connect with for like things that we love.
During my senior year, I feel like I've really been able to branch out and explore different mediums and explore different ideas that I haven't been able to before. I haven't done a lot of personal artwork within the last like 3 years, so being able to explore my own personal artwork has been really freeing and very exciting.
During my senior year, my artistic practice has improved a lot. We've been doing a lot of things in our journal, and at first it seems like kind of like, okay, why are they making me do all this? But it really pays off and it looks really cool.
I thought the curriculum was great. I've definitely learned more than I could have learned doing art fully self-taught.
I really liked being a visual arts student. Freshman year was definitely the biggest area of learning because they teach you all of the basic fundamentals. Senior year though, you get to finally put those skills that you've learned into your own works instead of what's given to you.
Throughout the entirety of my time at Charter Arts, it was a lot of perseverance, a lot of work for what I had to do. I think from the very beginning, being that when I had started, I was still doing the pandemic interview, the pandemic application, so I did everything virtually. So introducing to the teachers, getting to know them a little bit was always nice, and being able to actually get in school and learn from them gave me a lot of experience when it came to discipline and deadlines and things like that.
My experience at Charter Arts has been very positive. During my senior year, it's been kind of lasering in on one specific thing and really refining my work. So before senior year, I did a lot of mixed media kind of everywhere, all over the place. But within senior year, I focused in on mainly charcoal, a little bit of oil painting, which are the two mediums that I really, really enjoy.
I definitely feel I've been able to grow and express a lot more free will, especially in senior year. But, as you go through the years here, you kind of learn to work on things by yourself and not just follow a strict set of instructions. And that's something that we practice a lot this year specifically.
This is definitely the best artistic experience I've ever had. I've never found anywhere better. The whole time I've been here, I've just done nothing but learn, and I don't think I could have gone anywhere better than this.
It's grown, I'd say, a lot. I really rely on my peers to help me out and critique me, so I can learn from their eyes instead of just my own.
The biggest thing that has grown is just my work ethic as a whole. I think Charter Arts is really good at keeping you on track and keeping you motivated and keeping you inspired to do what you want to do. It's changed the way that I view art. I view it much more seriously and with purpose and intent, and I think that that's been the biggest change and inspiration.
Definitely challenging is a way I would put it. You were definitely tested throughout your time here. Like, your motivation is tested, your just ability to always be going creatively is always tested. It definitely showed me that I am able to do things and accomplish things even under all that pressure.
I feel like it helped me learn and better my craft.
So my artistic experience during this year in Charter Arts was completely different from, for example, the public schools that I transferred here. It's completely different the way you're focusing specifically on your work. You still have to remember about your academic stuff, right? But this time you're feeling more like a professional artist. You're focusing on the stuff you want to do and you like to do. And I think the teachers here and staff are very helpful in that.
So I came here my sophomore year. We developed in analytical drawing. I dreaded it, I'm gonna be honest. I did not like drawing and I wanted to go straight to painting, but honestly, drawing helped me a lot. My experience here, honestly, academic-wise and artistic-wise, it was really great. Artistic-wise, the teachers are very helpful, they're very good.
This school honestly is a really good base for honestly whatever you do in life. I feel like I can apply the lessons that I've learned in art throughout everything that I do.
My experience has been very, very fulfilling. I came here my sophomore year to advance my fundamental skills. Having the challenge, the 3 hours every single day, has really pushed my skills to another level unlike any other school. And I just felt so much more engulfed into art than normal, and it really just grew my passion for art.
My artistic inspiration is everyone around me, because everyone has their own different style and their own way of working, and I think that's really important in the world of art because nothing's ever going to be the same.
My friends, actually. Comparison's often not a thing I agree with. I don't like comparing myself to others, but I think in the context of that, you appreciate your friends for the work that they do. I think in that sense, that's a good way to kind of gauge inspiration and get inspiration from other people.
I really like Caravaggio, Basquiat. Basquiat, he was just unapologetically himself, I feel. It really drew me into his style and how well he represented himself and other people and big things going on in the world. I feel like it really encapsulates what art is supposed to be, just expressing yourself and how you feel.
I think one of my biggest inspiration has been Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec. His artwork has always really inspired me. I have coasters of his art at my house, and I really like his portrayal of the people that he paints. I think also artists online have been a very big inspiration to me. I think the way that everybody has a different take on things is really beautiful.
A lot of my artistic inspirations are an artist called David Hedinger, who does a lot of just it'll be women laying around in a couch or the grass. And Mary Cassatt especially, she also focuses a lot on women, but she's very gentle and sensitive about it, which is something that I wanted to include in my theme.
I grew up with my mom is an artist, my sister is an artist, so I definitely take a lot of motivation from being around people who are working artists in the community.
I am mainly influenced by online artists along with costume work, mainly fursuits and other people in the furry community.
For me, my biggest inspiration as an olden artist would be Vincent van Gogh. Currently, frankly, Mr. Boyle, one of the teachers, has helped me out throughout my entire artistic career. My freshman year, I had a lot of struggles going on family-wise, a lot of struggles going on art-wise, not being able to find out what I wanted to paint, do what I wanted to do, and Mr. Boyle had always sat with me and made sure I could make the deadline, made sure I understood how to get assignments done. So that was very helpful. And even now, I find myself taking bits and pieces of what he had shown me through his classes just to kind of manage through everyday life and not just my art curriculum.
A big artistic inspiration for me is probably my mom. My family is pretty artistic. None of them are practicing artists. None of them like do a lot of art in everyday life. But when I was younger, my mom would just be constantly doodling, and I picked up that same thing.
I look at a lot of artists online that I like their styles. People who create like their own characters and their own stories, and that influences a lot of my work.
Some of my biggest inspirations are comic book artists like Alex Ross, and the biggest one of all would be my dad. He's the only reason I'm here.
I think Van Gogh is a very big one because the texture in his paintings, I think, can really bring a story together. I'm really inspired by contemporary sculptors such as like Jeff Koons, Ai Weiwei. Seeing the way that they think outside their box with their work and then kind of the deeper meanings they take into their sculpture has really like inspired me to dig deeper.
My family members, like my mom and my pappy, they were both visual artists, and I noticed in myself that they are very similar to how I like make things and stuff. And I'm very happy that I have them to look back at and see their work.
I would say contemporary, I look at Izzy Evans and Joe Rance. They're illustrators that work today, and their pieces use a lot of color and vibrance, and I really, really love them. And then I would say more historically, I look at Edgar Degas, John Singer Sargent, Manet, a lot of impressionists, a lot of, big names like that.
A big one I'd say is my grandmother. She introduced me to painting and just art as a whole, music, classical, and a whole bunch of different genres.
Floyd Strickland, he's this oil painter. I love his technique when it comes to his works. Tyler Ballin is another oil painter from Jersey City, from my hometown, that I appreciate a lot just because of conceptually what he does, and I think everything I've seen in person has just been like 3 or 4 times the size that I've imagined in my head, and I've learned to kind of just go bigger, go home.
A huge one has to be my grandmom Joanne. She passed away before I was born. I took after her. My stage name's actually Nadia Joanne, and she was a professional artist, and she would have her work displayed in museums. My talent really got passed on by her.
First of all, I really love the artist Francis Bacon. He was working with mixed media, but mostly oil. This artist who have been creating the artworks after war. So his works are actually a lot of reflected by negative emotions of the war. But I do think it's amazing how he captured the emotions and how he's going out of the frame.
Paul Gauguin is my biggest inspiration. I fell in love with a lot of his pieces solely because of his color palettes. He uses very bright, intense colors, a lot of bright reds and oranges. That inspired me a lot. I loved his pieces a lot.
I really love Lautrec, Degas, and Van Gogh. I really like their color work. I like how they work with their mark making and painting. I really like Impressionism overall. Those kind of artists and the Impressionistic period really inspire me.
Right now, probably my most influential artist is John Booth. I do feel like my artistic inspirations do shift a lot based on kind of the work I'm creating. I feel like I don't have one person that I look to.
I really like Kim Jong-il. He was a Korean illustrator and artist. He does crazy stuff in perspective using pen and ink, and just overall a fantastic artist, and I've been using his works to explore and make my perspective in my artworks so much more interesting towards the viewer and make them more engaging.
One of my artistic inspirations is definitely Stephen Gibbs. I love his illustrations, his style, and the way he paints, and the smooth texture he adds to his finishing pieces. And it's something I really love, and he's helped me a lot with my work.
Everything I've learned here has been so helpful already. With applying to college and putting together a proper portfolio, I feel like I'm in a much better place than I would be if I hadn't gone to Charter Arts.
I think that the community at Charter Arts definitely helps to make someone more, I wouldn't say humble, but realize the artistic community that is really prevalent in the entire world and how big of a community it is, because at this school there's so many different majors. You realize how art is really universal throughout so many people who just use it in different ways.
It has gotten me self-confidence in my work. I've sold stuff at conventions, and I've been able to be more confident in accepting criticism in my work. So, you know, it's easier to just like feel more confident and more outgoing with your art.
It's helped me to build more discipline within myself and just within my work. Something I wouldn't have learned elsewhere or in another school. That's why I really like this school.
While I'm not going into art, I definitely want to take art as a hobby and mainly a way for me to express myself in my own personal life. I want to go into science and neuroscience, and there's a really big connection between art and science, and specifically neuroscience. So I want to be able to use art in my everyday life and in my practice.
Charter Arts has prepared me a lot for creative thinking. Knowing how to integrate creativity within a standard curriculum is incredibly important and incredibly vital for me to know where I stand within a job moving forward, and know how to give a unique perspective within that field that will be extremely valuable for, you know, my entire life.
I'm planning on studying art. I'm continuing it. So with the education I've gotten here, comparing it to like art colleges and stuff, it's very similarly set up. So I feel like here I've been set up for success because our classes are kind of like college level art classes. So it's kind of already helped me get into the mode that I'm gonna have to be in college.
It helped me a lot because I learned a lot about like artists around me and like how they draw, and it's really good to like talk to artists. It's one of the very important things to learn.
I mean, again, I think the biggest thing I took away is developing my work ethic. I've only been here for 2 years, but over those 2 years, like, it is really, my work ethic has really, really improved because you can't let things slip through the cracks like you do with other things.
The teachers, they helped me so much with finding connections. I have gone to a couple art exhibits outside of just school, and through there I've met so many professional artists that were friends with some of the teachers here, and man, without them I wouldn't have made so many great connections, and now I actually have a boost into the career I want to get into.
I would probably say at this school you really learn that what makes you different is actually a strength. At this school you learn that that is what makes you unique and an artist and interesting. So I'd probably say just don't be scared to like find yourself and explore going out of what you're just used to doing.
Listen to the teachers and make sure you actually are open to having advice and like changes to your art.
Patience is my biggest one. As someone who is not a patient person, you're gonna have to learn patience. Manage your time as well as taking it, and have a lot of patience with yourself, mostly. A lot of patience with yourself.
Your art skills don't define you. You are so much more than you think you are, and don't base yourself on what you can create, and especially don't compare yourself to your peers.
Stay on point. I think my biggest problem is that every once in a while I would get so caught up with things outside of school that I wouldn't really want to get into school for the arts events, like the First Fridays that we have going on. But now I notice that that gives me a lot of insight on how I can complete my work, how I can work on my projects. And even then, with deadlines and things, if you keep up with it, everything's very manageable. You can manage a job outside of school, you can manage work outside of school, you can even start doing your own art outside of school, so long as you adhere to the deadlines. Because if you get out of it, you can find yourself in a rut pretty quickly.
I think the biggest piece of advice I would give current and future art students is to have fun with your projects. A lot of the times we see our projects as such a task, but in reality, like, you can really do whatever you want with your project. So have fun with it and don't make it boring for yourself.
You just really have to talk to other people. Like, learning people around you who like things that you like, it really, really helps with learning and growing as well. Like, try and do things, even if you don't think you can do it, sometimes you'll come out and it will work out. It's a really nice thing sometimes.
Ask other artists around you about their techniques, what's going through their mind when they're painting or drawing. Learn to pull things out from different types of art forms like music, art pieces, poetry. Just learn how to, I guess, absorb everything, especially when it comes to critiques. Learn how to be a sponge because the people around you aren't here to break you down, but more so lift you up and make you a better artist.
Talk to people. Just talk to people. I know you don't know them, or maybe you transfer and those are strangers for you. But quickly and soon enough you'll find out a lot of common, because you're the same major, you have maybe different but also similar interests.
Have a positive mindset towards things. Negative emotions or feelings is definitely not a good way to go, and I just feel like you'll definitely just crash and it just wouldn't be good. So definitely see the positive and like focus on the good things.